With vaccines now widely available in the US, international travel is becoming possible again. One of the first countries to open up to vaccinated travelers was Iceland. As soon as they opened their borders, I booked a ticket. Though I didn't intend to, it even ended up being the first restored flight out of Washington Dulles. What's it like to fly to Iceland in 2021 on Icelandair's 757 in Saga Premium? Let's find out. There's just one more thing to say first.
Hell, it's about time.
First, let's talk entry requirements. Of course, they are always changing, but as of when I took this trip in May 2021, here are the rules for Americans. 1. You need to provide proof of vaccination or prior infection. No card, no admission. 2. You need to complete an entry form no earlier than 72 hours before your flight arrives. It includes your flight information, and you need to verify your phone number. 3. Everyone gets PCR tested upon arrival. Everyone! If you are vaccinated, you can go on your way, but you're supposed to head directly to your accommodation to quarantine until you get your results. And that's it. So let's now talk about Icelandair and my experience flying with them. But we need some context. Iceland has a population of 356,000. That's less than half of North Dakota. Yet they have a major international airline. They even used to have 2. So I feel like we need to cut them some slack. That said, there's a lot to be critical of. During the pandemic, they sold tickets on flights they literally didn't have the planes to operate just to make some money. Both my flights there and back were canceled twice. The call center hold times and music, in order to rebook, was atrocious. Check-in on both ends was a fiasco. The exact wording in my notes is clown show. The onboard Wi-Fi didn't work on any of my flights. The plane was downgraded the night before. And is Saga Premium a real international business class experience? Absolutely not. But I'm actually going to go easy on them this time. This trip just meant a lot to me personally. First, it was the first international trip since the pandemic, and there's just a joy of travel in my bones. Second, travel is in my blood, and I actually took this trip with my whole family, who I hadn't seen in a year and a half. Finally, I was last in Iceland in 2018. In fact, it was the last trip I took before starting this YouTube channel. That's not a coincidence. Perhaps someday I'll elaborate. I had paid about $350 for a one-way ticket in economy, not economy light. But like many airlines, Icelandair has a class up option where you can bid on an upgrade. Suspecting the re-inaugural flight on the 767 would be fairly empty, I lowballed it with just above the minimum, offering $190. It was accepted 72 hours before departure. There was no notice that I lost my chosen seat when the aircraft was swapped from a 767 to a 757, but I caught it the night before. I didn't check in online, as given the documentation requirements and my checked luggage, it wouldn't save me any time. Additionally, while Icelandair participates in TSA PreCheck, there's no way to enter your known traveler number online. It has to be done in person at check-in. Sigh. So I arrived at Dulles and headed to the Icelandair desk. There was no line. How long did it take to check in 4 people? 24 minutes! Why? The machines were confusing and unfamiliar to the agents. It wasn't clear how to check COVID vaccine cards and what the entry requirements were based on different nationalities. The baggage tag printer jammed. Then they loaded the wrong size paper. I found it all quite amusing. As Icelandair doesn't have a dedicated lounge outside of Reykjavik, they partnered to use the Air France lounge. At least, that's what both the website and the agent said. But I'm not sure Air France got the memo, because today the Air France lounge was closed, even though it should have been open. Some ground experience right there. Fortunately, I could just whip out my priority pass and use the far superior Turkish Airlines lounge. While the wonderful buffet is sadly another casualty of the pandemic, the prepackaged food is actually really good. Both the cold roast eggplant and chickpeas were tasty, and the sandwich, turkey of course, tasted fresh and was clearly of good quality bread and meat. The eponymous 787 soon pulled in, and I hope to fly that beauty in business class again next month. Finally, I headed to the gate, and it was showtime. Saga Premium on the 757 is 6 rows of recliner seats in a 2-2 configuration. They are slightly better than domestic US first class, but lie flat it's not. Each seat has 40 inches of legroom and comes with a footrest. It's fairly comfortable, but recline is limited. Both USB and full power are available. Amenity kits have different Icelandic themes, and today's was a brown kit model on a fox. It has the basics, but there was nothing memorable and I didn't feel the need to keep it. On boarding, everyone was handed a bottle of water and a sanitizing kit. No pre-departure drink was offered. Flying time was 5 hours and 33 minutes at 37,000 feet. COVID meal service remains quite streamlined with a single cold meal offering and no selection. And it was beef and shrimp, which not everyone eats. It reminded me of a bento box and was surprisingly tasty. There was a shrimp with salad appetizer and a rare steak, again cold, with potatoes, beans, and quinoa. For dessert, there was a raspberry something made with yogurt or skyr, which was quite tasty and refreshingly not overly sweet. Overall, it was decent for a cold meal, but nothing was amazing. Beverage selection is also limited. There's beer, wine, and soda. Gone is the library of Icelandic gin. The in-flight entertainment was alright, with 34 movies and some videos on Iceland, though several didn't work. As I mentioned before, the free Wi-Fi was also not functioning. That was fine for me as I focused on sleeping. With such a short flight, there's no time for breakfast, and before you knew it, we were on final approach to Keflavik. Even on the jet bridge, you could see and smell the eruptions of Fagradalsfjall, which is a short 20 minutes away. Iceland, of course, needs no introduction. You should go. Now. Trust me. So, Icelandair's Saga Premium. For an extra $190 one way, it felt worth it to me. But should it come close to $2,000 for a round-trip ticket, on par with lie-flat seats to mainland Europe? Absolutely not. It's really just premium economy. I'm sorry. A nice one, but premium economy nonetheless. There were also a lot of kinks on this re-inaugural flight that I hope they iron out, and that's one of the reasons I don't tend to do inaugural flights, as I doubt they are truly representative of what the real experience will be like. This year, there will be a shocking number of options to fly to Iceland. But with United and Delta also flying 757s, Icelandair may be as good an option as anything else. The ace up their sleeve is the newly recertified 737 MAX, which they fly transatlantic. What's that like? Well, be sure to subscribe as that will be coming soon. If you like this video, click that button, and I'll see you on the next one.